The Brad Rules!
Sonic and the Moon Facility is the sequel to Sonic and the Fallen Star. But unfortunately, the developers at Stardrop announced it was cancelled, but promised to supply us with the unfinished game anyway. And in February of this year, that's exactly what they did. According to a story document, Stardrop released the story sees Sonic and Tails investigating the Moon Facility, which is a research facility that has been non-operational for years. There seems like there would have been quite a bit of cutscenes to explain the story and transition between the levels in a more story-related fashion. So it's too bad we won't be seeing that anytime soon. The game is mostly complete, but there is quite a bit missing. But when you look at it overall, it is very playable. There's even 4 playable characters, 2 of which can be unlocked upon completing the game. Those being Metal Sonic and Amy. Sonic, Tails, and Amy's campaigns can be completed, but the true final ending that was planned by collecting all the Chaos Emeralds was never brought to fruition. And you can't even collect all the Chaos Emeralds through normal game progression. However, you can get them all and have access to super transformations by using the debug menu. I initially thought Tails' campaign couldn't be completed, as you eventually will be left with no place to go in the last level when you let Sonic lead you. But it turns out if you avoid him and fly up this shaft and maneuver around just right while in your super transformation, you'll be able to make it to the final boss. You can do the same as Amy, but it's very tricky to do by using her wall jump and super transformation because you need to be spot on. Amy has such a cute design with a sweater, and it's certainly a charming sprite. Playing as Amy and Metal is tremendous fun, and both of their stories take place after Sonic and Tails. Metal can rocket through stages, covering massive amounts of ground as he rockets forward, and Amy can fling herself forward with her hammer and has a wall jump. Sonic and Tails have redesigned sprites from Fallen Star, and they look pretty damn good, although Tails does look a bit bizarre when flying, as his nose looks like it's bulging out of his face. Metal, who is a clone of the original Metal Sonic, is white and has his head designed like a crescent moon, and I really like this design quite a bit. Interestingly enough, when Metal's sprite is rotated due to stage gimmicks, he'll transform into Knuckles. So I think it's safe to say Metal was once Knuckles and was replaced. It's a shame that we can't see Metal Sonic's true ending because he was intended to face off against the real Metal Sonic. So let's take a look at the stages, and it's really cool how you can read about each stage in the pause menu, which is something I love to see future official Sonic games and fan games do. It adds so much flavor, and I gain a new appreciation for a stage when I know something cool about it other than just leaving it up to my imagination. The Moon Facility is first, and I love how Sonic and Tails come racing into the stage and take 2 different paths when playing as Tails. And damn, this is a pretty complex design for a first stage. It's only 1 act, but quite the introduction with a hot music track. Look at the size of this boss. This is quite a first impression. Alpine Avenue Zone is up next, and there's ruins from a castle with graffiti on display. I like how there's pine trees obscuring a town in the background for most of Act 1, and then you can see the town more and more as you make your way through it. In Act 2, the town is way closer as the background opens up with a series of buildings, including clock towers. What a cozy little aesthetic. I love it. These flowers took me by surprise as they whip you around before tossing you into the air. Rapids Ravine follows, and I really like how this stage keeps you moving with these vertical conveyor belts that bring you upwards, and these zip lines. In Act 2, you'll descend into a mine for a setting that hasn't been utilized too much in Sonic games, with really the only one being Underground Zone from the 8-bit version of Sonic 2. You'll eventually run into Metal Sonic, and I love the design of the fight as you battle atop a train as a really cool track plays. Bamboo Breeze is next, and this is a really beautiful looking zone with a nice usage of color and flower petals in the air, and I like how the tubes are made of bamboo, and instead of having flowers that make you descend like in Fallen Star, you have flowers that make you ascend. Act 1 is a pretty fast-paced stage, and you really start gaining a lot of speed in this one, and I like how you get sent through a tunnel, into a cave, into a spring, and you're rocketed back out at blinding speed. Act 2 brings water into the picture, and the boss is massive and looks like a giant pagoda lantern, and it's wielding chainsaws. Shivering Sewer is a really unique level concept for a Sonic game, combining a sewer system with an ice level, and the music is absolutely fantastic here. You'll actually come topside and see a city in the background while still remaining in the sewer system, and you'll get to rip through the water on a boat for a really cool gimmick. The boss is a giant fish, and he'll soon destroy the bridge you're on and send you into the depths below, similar to the fight with Eggman in his submarine in Fallen Star. Urban Umbrella is the next zone you'll explore, and I love the idea of an underground city that is beneath the depths of the ocean, giving this a real Atlantis type vibe. Aquaman is nowhere in sight, but there is a beautiful aesthetic to behold, and I love that cozy level description that there's cafes down here. It also really helps the vibe hearing that chill as hell music play as you explore your surroundings. You'll get to do quite a bit of rail grinding, and you can catch a ride in these bubbles for great fun. Cloudy Complex is the following stage, and a hiking trail is such an interesting idea for a stage, and I love seeing the tent setup and the windmills for a really serene aesthetic. In Act 2, a giant robot will destroy the bridge you're standing on, and then you will just reach the goal in a really sudden fashion. Obviously, there was a boss fight planned here, but it never came to be. Powdery Plains is next on our journey, and it's a desert that was once an ocean, and you'll see the Moon Facility Tower in the background as we run along these aesthetically pleasing moon symbol ramps. We'll return to the Moon Facility next, and I like how we'll periodically get to see a map that shows us where we are in the tower as we race our way to the top. I really like how the gimmicks from the previous stages return here, really making everything come full circle. You will also be menaced by multiple Metal Sonic clones. And you could also see Metal Sonic clones in the background, which is a really nice touch. Once we make our way to the top of the facility, surprise surprise, we come face to face with Eggman, who has a freaky looking robot that reminds me a lot of Spamton Neo from Deltarune Chapter 2. The special stages are a thing of beauty, going for a space shooter vibe. Supersonic flies through the air as he destroys aircraft. Sadly, Sonic and Tails can only play through 2 stages because enemies won't spawn in the 3rd stage, and Metal and Amy have no sprite at all. But I took great satisfaction in obtaining a Chaos Emerald while invisible as Metal. It's also interesting to note that you can access Frozen Fountain Act 1 in time trial mode, and this is pretty surprising considering this was a Fallen Star level, but it was actually planned to be a bonus stage implemented into the main game. And it's fully redesigned from what we saw in Fallen Star, and I do appreciate this addition. Overall, this game is unfinished, but still feels more polished than a lot of official Sonic games, and that's saying something. It's a great follow-up to Fallen Star while still being just different enough to make it feel truly special. It's a charming, fun, and stylish game with great level design, and I do hope that Star Drop or someone else completes it one day, and I have a feeling we'll see the latter happen soon enough. So who's it gonna be, boys? So that just about does it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell to get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my subscribers for your continued support. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.